Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Keeping Up With Me. Quite a bit's happened this week. A few things to kind of get organized, I guess, in the lead up to the show. One of the things that we're in the process of doing is my theme wear, all my costumes, the gowns and whatnot. So I finally had the opportunity to book a time to go and see how all the designs are coming along. So very excited to kind of bring that to you next week. I'll be heading down, I think Lane's coming along as well. He gets a little fitting with, I guess, a fancy suit or something. So I'm going to be doing that this week. So we've booked that in for scheduling. I have been busy organizing, I guess, all of the photo shoot stuff. So believe it or not, there's actually a lot of thought that has to go into photo shoots, especially we're doing 3 days back to back. So July, I think it's the 29th, which is a Thursday. Maybe it's even the Wednesday. I'm flying down to Miami and we've got a morning shoot. So it'll be 2.5 hours, and that's about the most that I can like focus on. And then I'm like, I'm done. Like, this is not my day job. This is overwhelming. So we're going to do one on Thursday morning. Then we've got a Friday evening sunset shoot, which will also be somewhere at some special location in Miami. And then we've got a Saturday morning shoot. So all of those will be 2.5 or 3 hours at most. So I'll be doing that with a friend of mine just to make it a little bit more fun. It's a lot, I guess, when you're just doing it on your own. But for me, like, I don't have somebody that manages my social media. It's kind of whatever goes up is what I'm kind of directing and deciding what works. And that goes for like what I wear on my shoots, like what color sets are they for? What business branch are they going to be for? Is it these need to focus on our supplement range, or are they intended to focus on the workout builder, or is it for use for our coaching? Like, you know, you kind of have to have a bit of an objective for each of the shoots, and then making sure that you're tailoring your outfits so that they are appropriate for each of those, and then that they work with what you're intending to sell. So this weekend, once the kids were in bed, I had an hour or two to kind of think those things over. So I've started to kind of play around with a couple of different mood boards for each of the different photo shoots. And then this week I need to start executing and hitting the buy now button because they need to get here in time for those shoots. So did a little bit of planning for that over the weekend, and also just kind of scheduling all of our accommodation, getting the flights booked, organizing Brian behind the camera, what he's going to be doing, and then kind of writing out a bit of a day-to-day outline so that we know exactly what's going on, because there is a lot to get done. So in addition to the photo shoots, we have to coordinate our hair and makeup in the morning, and then we've also still got to get training in and obviously adhere to, it won't be quite peak week yet. So no doubt my calories are still going to be gnarly, which means like planning out my meals, making sure that everything's kind of going to work so that I have a successful week leading into peak week. So there's that. What else did we get up to? I think I had a midweek D&M with one of my other girlfriends. We went out for dinner. I think it was a Thursday night. I've been a little bit hesitant to do things midweek. I guess it kind of, most of you are probably creatures of routine and like your habits and tend to be maybe homebodies during the week, or maybe even the weekend as well. But I think I just needed, it was nice to have something to kind of look forward to midweek that wasn't just the same mundane, you know, basic foods, stuff that I've been eating every single day. And I actually did a really good job at successfully picking meals to help fit my macros, but in, you know, a fun environment. We tried out a new restaurant. It was called the Sea House here in Tampa. And yeah, it was really great. They had like live music on a Thursday. So we're sitting there at like 7:30, kind of going over some business stuff. And, you know, I guess fitness people in general, that's kind of where your conversation goes. But it was really nice to have some live music and stuff midweek. So I got to do that. This weekend was just kids, family. So Lane actually went out fishing for, I think, the second time this week. So it was offshore again. So he left at like 5 a.m. on Saturday morning, and he wasn't scheduled to get back until 5 p.m. But that didn't happen. I don't think we got to meet up for dinner until like 8:30. So I had the kids on Saturday. I did get the chance to go and get a training session in. Thankfully, we have an amazing nanny who was like, yeah, I'm around. I'll come and look after the kids for a couple of hours in the morning. So got some training done, then just had a nice day. We went over to a friend's place that also have kids, and just they swam, had fun, did that kind of thing. So yeah, it wasn't super eventful. I feel like I built a lot of cubby houses on Sunday, and I went out and bought like some pegs, like I'm taking my cubby house game to the next level. Getting pegs, blankets. I'm like, these blankets don't fit this area. I'm gonna go buy some blankets that actually work. So we created like this huge dome in Livia's bedroom. She's got like a bunk bed. So we kind of used that to create this big fort. And then I think every single pillow in our entire house was in her room to kind of make it like all fluffy and soft. So we did that. I played lots of games of hide and seek. I saw a meme this morning that I resonated with. It was like, for kids or something, it was a total of 3 bites have been taken from 748 bananas. I'm like, yep, that's so true. Or like there was another, it was a meme about snacks, because I tell you what, Livia, she just every 5 minutes is like, I'm hungry, can I have a snack? And then I'll just sit down, I'm like, gonna have a coffee and just watch her play. And she's like, I'm hungry, can I have a snack? And I'm like, get it yourself. So yeah, this weekend was really just family time. We actually went to dinner as a family on Sunday afternoon to a place that's got like the corn bags and stuff. So we actually just randomly met another family who were doing the same thing on Sunday afternoon. So it was cool. The kids got some new friends and we got some new friends. So that was really nice. But yeah, prep still happens around all of that. So something that did happen this week, and it's the first time I was a little bit naughty, was I went over my macro targets. So this week, I should pull this up actually, my target for my calories was 1642 per day. And I think my average, if I go back to the app, let me quickly have a look. My average for this week was 1764. So in total, the difference between those two over the course of 7 days, it's about 854 calories. Too many, which is a lot. So Sunday morning, I actually had to go and do an extra HIIT workout to get back into balance. So for those that actually keep an eye on what they burn, I'm gonna use quotation marks because we don't really know whether these watches are actually accurate, but it's a good guide. I was in there slogging it for like 50 minutes on the stair mill, or the dread mill, I guess we'll call it. It was horrible. Sorry, I think my heart rate, probably like the last 30 minutes was at like 180 beats per minute, like on and off, between 160, 180 on all of the intervals. So yeah, I was absolutely drenched, and I ended up doing, I think that workout accrued like 680 calories. I'm like, oh, is that all? So I ended up doing a lot more steps as well in the morning. So I ended up being in the gym for an extra day, which isn't what I normally set out to do, but it just so happened that's what this week related to. So you'll notice this week when I go to do my check-in, which I'll do with you in a moment, I'm still going to mark compliant because I did a lot of extra work to make up for the calories that I exceeded. So you'll see me go in and do that. We may as well do that now. All right, so let's have a quick look at my calories on that note. You can see here that my weekly average was 1764. It's kind of back and forth between a couple of different macros, and Friday was actually the day that kind of threw me off. I think we did any. Oh no, we went to Urban Steelhouse. Lane and I went there, and I know exactly what put me over. So we ordered a flight of beers. It was too good to pass up an opportunity. They were all like made locally. The guy was like raving about all these new brews that they had. So we tried those. That wasn't a huge amount of calories, but it was the dinner choice that we had. So something that I've never tried is bison or bison ribeye. So we ordered this. It was like a 24-ounce portion, so it's just a shareable dish. So Lane and I split it. I only had 4.5 ounces, I think, for dinner. Lane had the rest. So he enjoyed himself thoroughly. But the fat content of certain types of meat sauces, despite what they look like, are very high in fat. So this is quite marbled, and it had quite a thick layer, like a sinewy layer through the top where it was cut. So that was really what threw me over so much. And I probably should have said no to the flight of beers, but I split it. I didn't have it all on my own, but it just goes to show you guys, like very small changes to your food choices makes a pretty big difference to your weekly average when you're eating calorically dense foods. That's my calories for the week. But like I said, I made up for it on Sunday, so I'm going to be able to mark compliant, no doubt. As always, my protein is always very high. So you can see there, my weekly average was 169. I'm just kind of going across there showing you the different protein amounts. You can see Friday, the night that we went out for dinner, 194. That was actually my highest day for the week. Carbohydrates, kind of staggered. My average was 190. Started off pretty strong earlier in the week, and then it just kind of trickles the way up as I'm getting hungrier and hungrier. So that was that. And then fats is the macro that I really couldn't care less about. Take it or leave it. 37 grams was my average for the week, and that stayed pretty low with the exception of Friday, where I had just about 50 grams. And honestly, I pretty much eaten fat-free foods for the majority of the day, and then that one piece of steak and all of the oil that they served over all of my veggies kind of made up the rest. So that is how my week looked. If we go now and take a quick look at my weight, I think I'm probably going to get a calorie drop this week, but I also think I need to change my goal and make it more aggressive. So before I do that, let's kind of quickly have a look at my weigh-ins for this week, and we'll talk about why I might be doing that. So you can see here my weekly cycle is that Monday through to Sunday. I check in on Mondays. So I started off the week 65, 65.2, 64.5, 65, 64.6, and then 64.4, and then today when I actually weighed in, I'm at 65.8. So a little bit heavier this morning, but I had also had a meal, but probably not going to make a full kilo difference. So I think I'm probably at the point where I'm going to need an adjustment. So average weight is down a little bit from last week. Last week's average, if we scroll across, you can see there that I was at 65.3. So, you know, I've come down not quite the 0.5 that I'm wanting, but my rate of loss has definitely slowed. And you'll be able to see there, if we go back the week before, I actually went back up. I know my weight didn't change last week, so it just kind of held steady. So let's go and do my check-in. Coach is already giving me a little notification to check in, so we'll do that. So were you compliant to your calorie targets this week? So my allowable range as the target of 1642 was 1601 to 1683, and I was over if I was just looking at my nutrition. But like I said, I went and did that nice slog HIIT session, which almost got me back into balance, and then I did some extra steps this week. I think I did about 1,500 steps on average more per day this week to kind of rack up some more steps, and I did most of that on Sunday. So protein was a little bit over, which is pretty standard for me, and then carbs and fats, I guess they are still over, but like I said, I've made up for it with that training session. So I technically can mark compliant. So I'm gonna do yes. My current weight, 65.8. And then it's asking, am I close to my menstrual cycle? So let's just go and do something real quick. I'm gonna pause this on here. I'm gonna pull up my chart for menstrual cycle, just so that you can see what I've been dealing with again for the last month or two. So everything that you can see on the screen here in red is when I've had a period. Now, that's a lot in the last 2 months. So my body is just fighting me at the moment to lose weight. And obviously the leaner you get, the more irregular your cycle becomes. So technically speaking, I've been getting it every 2 weeks, which is just wonderful. I'm starting to get all of the symptoms that I would expect for menstrual cycle, but I also had a meal yesterday when we went out with the family that even though I asked for no garlic and no onion, my veggies came out smothered in chunks of garlic, and I just had a little taste because I was like, oh, I wonder what does it taste like? And my stomach has been really uncomfortable, I think, since I went to bed. So it could be just carry on from eating or tasting those things, and I think I pinched a fry from the kids, or it could be that I'm about to get yet another cycle. So I don't know, but right now I'm actually going to mark, I'm going to mark no. And the reason is I don't have time right now for any more delays to getting to my goal, because contest prep is time sensitive. And with the app, we don't set hard deadlines for people. It's not an app that it was built specifically for contest prep. It is a lifestyle app. So it wants you to be able to have the flexibility to do what it says, and it will get you to your goal. It will, but it's not going to push you on time. It will do what makes sense. So normally, if I wasn't competing right now and I wasn't sure, heck yes, I'm gonna mark yes, I'm close to my cycle, because I don't wanna have to take an unnecessary calorie cut. So it would just hold me steady, but I don't have time for that. So I'm gonna mark no, like all's good. Let's see what happens. So 65.8, yes, I wasn't dyslexic this week. We'll check in. Okay, all right, it's not that bad, it's not that bad. I'm over-exaggerating. 1534. So it looks like your weight loss hasn't progressed as much as we'd hoped. For this reason, we are going to make a significant decrease to your calories. And that's because last week I didn't move, and then this week I didn't move enough. So obviously I'm starting to get to a plateau with these calorie targets. So this should help speed up your weight loss to the correct weight, which at the moment is set at 0.5. So I can go in here, obviously I can modify those targets if I want to. So I'm probably gonna just pop my protein back at 155, and that ratio of carbs to fats seems fine because I haven't really been enjoying fats. It's currently at 37 fat and 144 carbs, which is just nasty. Now, the other thing that I think I am going to do this week, and I have some options here, and I'm literally thinking about this right now. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. When I was setting up for how much weight I wanted to lose, I actually didn't factor in peak week. So when I looked at the time that I started this diet to when my show is, I was like, oh cool, I've got 12 weeks. All right. So I think I need to lose roughly, a 9.5 pounds or 9.5 kilos. So I've got 12 weeks. So I just divided that number by 12, and then that gave me my targeted rate of loss, which is what I put in here to the app. But I didn't count peak week. So I don't want to be cutting in that last week. I actually need to be adding back in to kind of fill out and just see how I'm looking. So with that in mind, knowing that I now have a week less to be ready, I think I'm actually going to go in right now and just pop in or make an adjustment to the amount of weight that I want to lose each week. So that probably means my calories are going to come down even further. So we'll have a look here and see what they come out at. So I'm going to go into the coach settings. I'm going to go to my goal. Are you sure you want to change your goal? I don't want to, but yes, I'm competing, so yes. So obviously lose weight, my current weight. We'll use my weekly average, which was 65.3 or 64.9 actually. 64.9. Goal weight, 61. Do I know my body fat percentage? Yes, it's currently at 13.8. Okay, well, so it says here, do you want to use your current estimated maintenance calories? So I'm going to say use current metabolism, and then I'm going to put my weekly rate of weight loss up to 0.7. Let's just see what these come out at. I hate doing this. They're probably going to be less than or more than what I actually just got given for my current weight. We'll see. 1305. Oh my God. It's a sad day, folks. It's a sad day. So that puts me down to 111 carbohydrate and 29 grams of fat. I'm going to keep my protein where it is. Now I do have some wriggle room here with my protein intake if I wanted to. So right now you can see based on my current amount of 150 grams, that puts me at 2.6 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass. So it's kind of right in the middle of that recommended range. If I wanted to, I could move it down or I can move it up, and I'm still within an amount of protein that I can consume daily that's going to contribute positively to the retention of my lean body mass. So this week, if I feel like I'm absolutely struggling to get 150 grams of protein at the expense of all the low amount of carbohydrates, I might slide down my protein to say 145. It's not a significant amount, but it's enough just to sneak me in a few extra grams of either carbs, which is probably what it's going to be. It's not going to be fats. It'll sneak me in a few extra grams of carbohydrates because that's my preference. So that may be what I will do, but I will be giving my best effort to hit that target of protein, which I have a hard time doing anyway because it's my preferred macro. But I just wanted to let you guys know that that's why we have a range here on the app. It's not that one is better than the other. This is an optimal amount, and you can make a decision based on your personal food preferences. So I'm going to go ahead and save it at 150. My slider is sensitive enough. There we go. Yep, looks like I'm getting after it. So you're probably thinking, oh my God, Holly, she is pretty muscular and why is she having 1,300 calories? For me to lose 0.7 of a kilogram, like this is over a pound, guys. Like that's a lot of weight. It's relative to my current body weight. It's always percentage based. So for one individual, you know, that might not sound like very much, but for another, like that's a lot. So this amount of calories is going to help facilitate that. So I'm gonna have a terrible week. Clearly, I'm super thrilled. I had a conversation with Teresa, my training partner this morning, about going out for dinner, and I'm looking at that going, probably not gonna happen. So if I still go out for dinner, I'll probably have to be very judicious with my food choices throughout the day. I'd be having mostly protein and veggies at my first couple of meals. And that may permit me my staggering 110 grams or so of carbohydrate that I've got to, you know, enjoy something when we go out for dinner. Maybe a bread roll, yay. Or some ice cream, I don't know, but that's it. So I hope that was helpful. It's going to be a really tough week for me this week. So if you want to leave me any support, please go and drop it in the comments. If you aren't following me on my YouTube channel, please subscribe and I will see you next week.